Good morning, everyone. My name is Thomas Aguillon, Director of Government Affairs for Charter Communications, or what you might know as Spectrum. It's a pleasure to be with you today to discuss the very exciting news about Charter's investment in the community of Brownsville and the Brownsville Housing Authority. Charter provides internet and cable services to thousands of residents in Brownsville and across Texas. We serve 3.2 million customers, and over 12,000 employees across the state are employed by Charter. We are also happy to announce that in Brownsville, we cover 98% of the community, and by 2021, we'll hope to have 100% of the community of Brownsville covered with both internet and cable services and phone. Last year, we invested $816 million in infrastructure and technology across Texas, and expanded our network to provide broadband to 186,000 additional homes and small businesses in the state, which is what I mentioned a second ago about our investment in Brownsville. At Charter, we are committed to strengthening the communities we serve and where our customers live and work. As part of the commitment, we are continuing to work and help close, or actually help to expand the broadband adoption and enable connectivity in today's digital world. One of our signature programs, why we're here today, is a Spectrum Digital Education Grant, which are designed to support nonprofits, organizations that educate community members on the benefits of broadband and how to improve their lives. This year, we've doubled our Spectrum Digital Education support and boosted the number of organizations receiving grants as part of the multi-year initiative to support broadband and training and technology. With this year's grants, Charter has surpassed its multi-year commitment to award $6 million in cash and in-kind donations to support broadband education across the company's 41 state service area. This program helps bridge the gap in digital literacy through grants, public service announcements, direct engagement by partnering with organizations who are committed and educating their communities on the benefits of broadband and how it can be used to improve their lives. And with that, I'm delighted to be with you today to celebrate one of these recipients and announce $25,000 Spectrum Digital Education grant to Brownsville Housing Authority. We are proud to support an organization doing such important work delivering technology to those in need. We also know that affordability of internet services can be a barrier to accessing online tools and obtaining virtual information. In addition to Spectrum Digital Education grants, Charter's Spectrum Internet Assistance, SIA, is available to eligible households across 41 states in our footprint. The low cost affordable broadband option for eligible families and seniors offers industry leading speeds that exceeds the FCC definition of high-speed broadband. And this will allow families, students to apply for jobs, complete homework, or start their own businesses. And we are excited today to announce the grant. And I know we have several dignitaries and elected officials with us to say a few words and also to congratulate them. So with that, I'd like to introduce our congressman, who actually was recently announced as the deputy head of the U.S. delegation to NATO, the Parliamentary Assembly. So congratulations, Congressman, on that. And without further ado, Congressman Bella.
Thank you, Thomas, and good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be with all of you today. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Charter for inviting me to take part in presenting this award to the City of Brownsville's Housing Authority. It will go a long way in helping improve digital literacy in our community. Charter, whom I've worked with here in Washington, D.C. for some years now, has made efforts to bridge our technology gap and has demonstrated their commitment during this unprecedented time. Having access to a broadband connection is the first step to closing the digital divide. But another critical piece is making sure that people have the skills they need to take advantage of connectivity and have access to the technological tools needed to access the internet. That's why I'm so pleased to help present this Spectrum Digital Education Grant in the amount of $25,000 to the Brownsville Housing Authority for its Buena Vida Choice Envision Bibliotech program, a program which I am also incredibly proud to have worked to bring to our region. The Housing Authority serves more than 1,000 low-income families, including over 2,000 families housed through the Housing Choice Voucher Program, and another 500 living in 6 public housing and tax credit developments around the city. As this pandemic has shown all of us, broadband internet connectivity has never been more important. Whether it's a local restaurant transitioning to online ordering or small businesses moving their product offerings to online stores, these vital internet connections have helped keep local economies going. Internet connections have also helped families and loved ones stay in touch despite the need for increased physical distance, and have allowed children and adults alike to stay engaged at school and at work. And of particular importance during this pandemic, I have seen firsthand how important connectivity is in ensuring that the residents of Brownsville and across the Rio Grande Valley are able to access telehealth services and speak to their doctors in the comfort of their homes. This has been a tough year, but as we start the new Congress in the coming weeks, I look forward to working to ensure that 100% of South Texas residents have access to broadband services. And thank you all for letting me join you today.
Well, thank you, Congressman. And I know that you've had the best interests of your district since 2013 at heart, and you continue to do great work up in DC representing your constituents in your hometown. So thank you very much. And another member of the elected group down in Brownsville, and who I like to call a good friend, and is also 3 times over a small business owner who understands the impact of technology on businesses and families. The representative has been serving in the House now for 8 terms. And with that, I'd like to introduce State Representative Eddie Lucio III.
Thomas, it's great to be with you all. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everyone. You know, such an interesting year. We've learned so much from it. But let me first say it's an honor to join you. Thank you to Charter Spectrum for an investment in our community. I've worked with you for almost 2 decades now as a policymaker, and when, you know, back in the old time Warner days. And let me tell you, it's just always been a pleasure to work with you. Phone calls, you know, on weekends, late at night, trying to solve issues for constituents or my local communities. You, Ed, everybody at Time Warner has, and now Spectrum and Charter have just been the pillar of excellence when it comes to stakeholders and great corporate citizens. And of course, that's magnified today with the investment you made in our community. I'm really proud to be from Brownsville, to represent Brownsville. The Brownsville Housing Authority holds a special place in my heart. You know, I don't know if y'all know this, but my father and his family, when he was young, relied on community housing. And, you know, he tells me how that helped his family, and the Bootstrap program and other programs that Dad's been involved in. And I've seen growing up, and, you know, had an opportunity to learn about at a very young age, and how important that is for people to have a home, to have a place to be safe, raise their family, and, you know, improve with each generation. So for those local leaders in Brownsville, thank you for doing your part to make our community great. Connectivity is a big issue, no doubt about it. You know, when we were talking about virtual instruction, and teachers had raised their concern about what was going to happen in the fall semester, I was very much encouraging virtual instruction for fall 2020. And I was made aware that, you know, there's still some families, some areas, especially like in the Los Fresno School District and others, that have problem with connectivity. As a small businessman, I am very much reliant on great connectivity for my businesses. And frankly, all the platforms I use to operate my businesses are all online now. There's no software that I download to any of my hardware. So without connectivity, my business is shut down. So we are very much a partner in developing the economy in the state of Texas locally, providing education moving forward. And Thomas, let me tell you, we are going to now make permanent some of the things that we had to adapt as necessity this year, whether it's in business and especially in education. So moving forward, what connectivity is like is vitally important for every community in the state of Texas. But today, let me say, I'm honored. I'm grateful for your generosity for our Brownsville community. I see several of my friends who are local leaders. Thank you again for you know, putting this money to good use and serving the great citizens of the Rio Grande Valley and of Brownsville. A pleasure to be here. Thank
you, Representative, and I couldn't agree with you more. The need for connectivity is even more greater now. And so that's why we're so happy and glad to continue to offer these opportunities through grants, and our services, both in Brownsville and the state of Texas. So thank you. Next, we have City Manager Bernal, who I know has been city manager in other places in Texas, but couldn't wait to get to Brownsville, and he's been there 2 years. And congratulations, Mr. Manager. I understand you'll be there for another 2 more, and so congratulations on that. I think you're doing wonderful things for the city. Congratulations on the recent SpaceX launch. I know y'all are touting a new Tesla store too. So there's wonderful things happening in the city of Brownsville, and I know it's not all just happening with the wave of a wand. So congratulations on all your hard work, and thank you for joining us, City Manager.
Thank you, Thomas. Yes, there's a lot of positive things happening here in Brownsville. Absolutely, and there's more to come. But today's about the Housing Authority. Today's about charter, and thank you for inviting us to share in this celebration, because I think it's really celebratory. We need to celebrate the investment that you guys are making in Brownsville. One of the things that I can share from a different perspective that hasn't been added is what's happening within city governments, and what's happening is certainly with the pandemic, it's been highlighted more vividly, but the need to shift to a digital environment in terms of how we provide services is also something that's happening within our industry. So we at the city of Brownsville want to make sure that we focus on the inclusion piece, and that is that we're bringing our community members with us, that we're able to provide services, but that the services can be benefited by the community members that it's intended to benefit. There really is no use of us going digital when we're not able to really have that value added to our community members. So we'll need partners. We'll need federal partners. We'll need our state partners, and we'll need the private sector. And Charter, in this example here, has stepped up to support our community through the Housing Authority, and that's a great example of where we're going to have to lean on partners such as Charter to help us get that inclusion and digital literacy part going. Because we'll have a role, but we'll need to make sure that we incorporate the role of our stakeholders as well. There's no secret in terms of where Brownsville stands on the connectivity side. We are regionally, but Brownsville also is amongst the most disconnected cities in the country. But we're also, making strides to address that. And as we do so, we need to ensure that we have our priorities in place. And in the city government marketplace, it's called smart cities. But for us, the foundation is broadband. We can't get too far down the road without having our foundation in place. And that's something that we're currently exploring. But again, we'll need partners. We won't be able to do it on our own. We'll have a role. And I think that with COVID and all that's happening, it's only become more clear the need to be more assertive in addressing some of these gaps in connectivity within the community. So we thank you for your investment. We are a partner with the Housing Authority. So congrats to Carla Mancha and her team. I know the Brownsville Library has helped support some of the programming for the Bibliotech project. So we look forward to further partnership opportunities. And finally, on behalf of Mayor Mendez, who wasn't able to join today, he does also extend his regards.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, and we're here and ready to continue to help the city of Brownsville through this time and to stay connected. So thank you. Well, next I'd like to introduce Commissioner Dr. Gowan, who has been a city commissioner now since 2009 and continues to serve our community not only as a medical doctor but in a political field for the city of Brownsville, and has done wonderful things and continues to do wonderful things. And with that, I'd like to introduce Commissioner Dr. Gowan.
I do sit in my office right now waiting to see my next patients. And from that perspective, since so many wonderful things have been said already about connectivity, certainly one of the things that we've learned very clearly during this pandemic is the usefulness and necessity of connectivity for medical reasons, whether it be to increase access to care or return results more quickly, or just offer comfort and support and reassurance to people who cannot at this time go on a regular basis to see their doctors and providers. So telehealth, telemedicine, I believe is here to stay. And we can't do that without connectivity that is meaningful and reliable. So thank you very much, Charter and Spectrum and the Brownsville Housing Authority for embarking on this adventure. with us that is really the very basis of equity in our community and many other communities where access is limited. So as a physician, as an elected official, we will all be healthier and all be safer as we move forward, not just through this pandemic, but beyond with broadband connectivity. So thank you, Charter. Thank you, Spectrum.
Commissioner, thank you. I know you're a doctor and you've got a busy schedule. I know we've invited you to a couple things, but thank you for participating today. It means a lot. And I know you've, as I mentioned to Noel, you've been vested in Brownsville for quite some time now. I think since 2009, I think you've been elected.
Yes.
So congratulations on the longevity of your investment to the community, and thank you for your service, both in the medical world and in the political world. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all.
To you as well. Thank you. But next, I'd like to introduce our CEO of the Brownsville Housing Authority, Carla Mancha, who is our guest of honor as they are receiving the $25,000 Spectrum Digital Grant today. But I'd also like to mention that this wasn't just, Brownsville, the Housing Authority wasn't just picked to give this grant to. The Housing Authority applied for it, and there was over 259 eligible applicants. And because of the programs that they have set in place, and I know because of Ms. Mancha and the things that she's done to kind of bring the Housing Authority to the forefront, this is just an award that is a long time coming, and we hope it helps you and your endeavors to continue to educate the families of the Housing Authority. So thank you, Ms. Mancha.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Thomas. And on behalf of the Housing Authority Board of Commissioners, Chairman Luis Eduardo Garduño, Vice Chairman Jesse Miller, Commissioner Michael Seifert, and Commissioners Ruben Herrera and Laura Villarreal, we thank Charter Communications and Spectrum for this wonderful grant of $25,000. And we thank you for entrusting HACB to administer these funds. So just to talk a little bit about HACB and how it is that we got here today with this wonderful, wonderful grant award from Spectrum Charter Communications. So HACB is the largest housing authority south of San Antonio. We serve over 3,800 families here in our beautiful community of the city of Brownsville. And HACB was designated a Connect Home Nation community back in August of 2017 by HUD and their partner nonprofit Everyone On. And the whole goal of Connect Home Nation is to help housing authorities, providing them the tools and resources to then help their families get connected to the internet and addressing the digital divide. So since August of 2017, the Housing Authority has made a very intentional, focused effort to help all of our families to be connected. Not just the children, but the parents, the grandparents, taking it from a holistic view, a holistic perspective to help the entire household. Then in February of 2020, HACB was designated an Envision Center community by HUD. And I'd like to state that when we were designated a Connect Home Nation, we were third in the state of Texas. And when we were designated an Envision Center community earlier this year, we were third in the state of Texas. And so with the Envision Center program, it has 4 pillars that are identified to help families reach self-sufficiency. And one of the pillars is education. With the Spectrum Educational Grant, we'll be able to further the mission and the goals of HACB and of these 2 designations by implementing the Bibliotech Center at the Buena Vida Envision Center community. The Bibliotech program concept was developed by County Judge Nelson Wolf of Bexar County in San Antonio. Instead of having the traditional libraries across their different neighborhoods in San Antonio, Judge Wolf came up with this innovative idea of having an all digital library, which was more cost effective and proven to be more impactful. He knew that the importance of providing these resources to low income neighborhoods was necessary, but also the right thing to do. Then the Laredo Housing Authority saw how the success of a bibliotech center in low-income areas in San Antonio was helping their families and their public housing communities. And they then implemented the bibliotech concept and program at their public housing sites in Laredo, which now leads to us. Thanks to Congressman Vela and his team led by Marisela Cortez, they connected our housing authority to the key individuals in San Antonio to learn more about the Bibliotech Center and the Bibliotech concept. So I want to, again, thank you, Congressman Vela, for always having that passion and that commitment to increase the quality of life for all of our families here in Brownsville and in your district. Because of you, we are here today accepting this award from Charter Communications and Spectrum for $25,000, because we will utilize these funds to implement the very first bibliotech library in Brownsville, located there at the Buena Vida Envision Center community. I also want to note that the Housing Authority's nonprofit, the Brownsville Housing Opportunity Corporation, will also invest to develop and implement the second and third bibliotech sites at our Poinsettia Gardens at Boca Chica tax credit project and at the Trail Village tax credit project. Poinsettia Gardens will be finishing its construction by mid-month in January, and Trail Village will complete its construction by November of next year. So by this time next year, we will have 3 bibliotech sites here in the community of Brownsville. And it all started with the support from Congressman Vela and also with the support from Charter Communications Spectrum for providing us the funding to develop and implement the very first bibliotech library in Brownsville. Thank you to Noel Bernard and his entire team at the city, and with his leadership there at the library. We will be entering into an MOU with the city to again outline the procedures and the process in how to operate the Bibliotech Center, not only again at Buena Vida Envision, but also at Poinsettia and at Trail Village. So thank you again to everyone at Spectrum, Charter Communications, Congressman Vela, State Representative Lucio, and City Manager Bernal, Commissioner Gowan for taking part in today's event. Thank you for helping us help our families.
Thank you, Ms. Mancha. And then congratulations again. We look forward to great things from the Housing Authority, and we'll continue to support you in any way we can. So thank you very much for your wonderful comments.
Thank you.
So thank you all for participating. Congratulations to the Brownsville Housing Authority. I know you've worked hard to keep your residents happy and educate them on the digital needs and challenges. So congratulations, and we look forward to continued investment in Brownsville.